All right, here we go. Sine. How can you find sine? One or two ways to find sine. 5. Opposite over hypotenuse. So remember, that's only when I'm dealing with a right triangle. I can use opposite over hypotenuse. If I don't have a right triangle, aka I'm on the unit circle, I want to use what? 2? The y coordinate on the unit circle, wherever I am. Good. All right, how about cosine? How can you find the cosine? 13.
Adjacent over hypotenuse.
If I'm in a right triangle, correct. Adjacent over hypotenuse. If I'm on the unit circle somewhere, I take the 8 x coordinate. Now let's look at tangent, what we did yesterday. What are the two different ways to find the tangent value? 15.
Opposite over hypotenuse.
I got that sign.
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent. Right triangles. Opposite over adjacent. What if I'm on the unit circle now? This was the new thing from yesterday. What if I'm on the unit circle? 10. Y coordinate over the x coordinate. All right. So those are the big 3. And those are the 3 you've been used to your whole career. Nobody ever told you, though, there's actually 3 more. All right. There's actually 6 of these total. Let me introduce you to the first new one today. It's called, we got sine, cosine, tangent. This one's called cosecant. Cosecant. It has an abbreviation, just like these 3 do. The abbreviation for this new one, cosecant, is CSC. Cosecant. That's theta. Here's the good news. It's related to sine. They go together. It's related. How are they related? Let me throw this word at you, and you tell me what's the first couple things that come to your mind. Reciprocal. Reciprocal. What comes to your mind? Denominator?
Not more reciprocal is? Like you take the reciprocal and like
flip
the denominator.
The definition of reciprocal, you take the reciprocal.
I don't know. I should not invent opposite.
Okay, you got to get more than opposite for me. Because usually when I hear opposite, that means positive goes to negative, negative goes to positive, but that's not it here. Nick? I just want one word. Flip. Flip. That's all I want. Flip. Okay? Cosecant and is sine but flipped. But flipped. So if we're on a right triangle and I find sine by doing opposite over hypotenuse, how do you think I'm going to find cosecant? Reciprocal. Flip. It's going to be the hypotenuse over the opposite. It's sine flipped. And instead of taking the y coordinate, I'm going to take the y coordinate and flip it. So whatever the y coordinate is, I'm going to flip it to find cosecant. But the biggest thing I got to drill home today is these two always go together, sine and cosecant. It's just cosecant is sine flipped. Let me show you an example. Sine 30. Let me just sine 30. You know how to find that. Not using your calculator, but using the unit circle, you know how to find sine 30. What's the point at 30? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Radical 3 over 2, 1/2. Ready? So what's the sine value? 1/2, right? It's the y coordinate. Now let me go over here. What would be the value of cosecant 30? You flip sine. So if sine of 30 is 1/2, flip it. Cosecant of 30 is going to be equal to? All right, see how this works now. I'm flipping the other value. All right? So there's the first one. The next new one is called secant. Secant. Any guesses on the abbreviation? SEC. Notice what I put it next to on the other side. Cosine. It is cosine flipped. Okay? Cosine and secant go together, but it's cosine flipped. So how do you think if I had a right triangle, I wouldn't do A over H, I do. There you go. And if I was on the unit circle, I would take the x coordinate and flip it. So cosecant and sine go together, secant and cosine go together, and then the sixth and final one, this one's an easy one to remember. You definitely know what it goes with just by the name alone. Ready? Cotangent. Pretty easy to remember what it goes with, right? It's got the word tangent in it. What do you think the abbreviation is? COT. How do you think you find it on the right triangles? Adjacent over opposite. And on the unit circle? X coordinate over Y coordinate. Keep that word flipped in your mind. I'm taking the original and flipping it to get to the new one. Here's going to be the problem, though. Here's the problem. Everyone's going to know tangent and cotangent go together, right? They sound the same. Cotangent, tangent. Here's where you may get mixed up. What does cosecant and secant go to, right? You may mix them up, put one with the other, and it's supposed to be reversed. So let me give you a way to remember what goes with what. Now go to your notes for me. All right, now go to your notes, and at the top of your notes, write SOHCAHTOA down for me. At the top of your notes, write SOHCAHTOA down. And underneath, we're going to write which one is related to the one of the new three. So let's start with the easiest one. What's tangent related to? Cotangent, right? So I'm right underneath, I'm just going to put COT in parentheses, just to remind myself that cotangent is related to tangent. Okay, now here's where the mix-up could come in, right? And I'm going to try to eliminate that by giving you guys a little trick. What is cosine? What was cosine related to? Secant, right? So underneath cosine, I'm going to write secant. Now, instead of memorizing this, here's the little trick. Secant is abbreviated SEC. In the English language, what other word is abbreviated SEC? Second. So it goes underneath the second one in SOHCAHTOA. Okay, SEC for secant, SEC for second. It goes underneath the second one in cosine, which means what's got to go under sine? Cosecant. All right, cosecant. Flip one of the original three. All right, I just did a lot of talking there. Now it's going to be practice. Anything you want to ask before we go? All right, let's do this. Take this right triangle, find all 6 ratios. So the big 3 and the new 3. We're going to find all 6. Problem with my right triangle before I start? I don't know all 3 sides. Can you find the third side? How? Pythag. Let's go. Pythag. I'll give you guys a minute to do Pythag to find the hypotenuse. And I'll ask somebody what it is. Uh, 15. Got the hypotenuse side? 4. Good work. So 4. All right, we ready to roll? Finding all 6 now. So I'll start it. How about sine? Well, the other question is, can we read the directions again? What angle am I going from? Because that's going to be pretty important. A, right? We're going from angle A, everybody. So sine of A using this right triangle. I'm not saying much anymore. We got to be at this point. I can't push you and give you little hints. How do I find the sine of A? This is a right triangle. 3, sine of A.
Radical or opposite over hypotenuse.
Yep, keep going. I don't need to write that down anymore.
Radical 7 over 4.
Yep, you're good, Dylan. Thank you. Radical 7 over 4. Opposite over hypotenuse. And we're going from angle A because that's what the direction said. All right, number 2, let's do cosine A. Cosine A, 7. Cosine of A, 3 over 4. Everyone's solid. Tangent. These are the 3 we should be able to do. Tangent A. 5.
3 over radical 7 over 3.
Opposite radical 7, adjacent 3. All right, everyone can do those 3. Now you're ready for the new 3. Cosecant A. Now, I could go up here and do hypotenuse over opposite, or you can take what value here and flip it. What's cosecant related to? 15? Howie, what's cosecant related to? Which one of these 3? Sine. So all I got to do is, if I did the sine value right, flip it and get 4 over radical 7, radical 7, radical 7, radical 7, self-respect. Four radical 7 over 7. What about secant A? Now I'm going to take what and flip it? Cosine. So this is an easy one. Take it and flip it. What's secant of A now? 10? What's secant related to?
It's C, cosine.
Cosine. So take your cosine value, Nick, and flip it. What was our cosine value?
3 over 4. So it's 4 over 3.
Yeah, that's it. Relax. You're good. You all right today? No specs? Getting a little rattled?
Yeah.
Okay. And then our last new one is cotangent A. Cotangent A, 6. Yep. Right now, 3 over radical 7, but we're going to take care of that, right? We're going to be better than 3 over radical 7. Let me know what that changes into. 8.
3 radical 7 over 7.
Unbelievable. And we're not done because we have more directions. It said find all 6 and what is angle A to the nearest degree? Guys, I'm not teaching anything new. How have we been finding what an angle is in this unit? Thank you, Sydney. Go ahead. What have we been doing? Inverse of something. And they're all positive, right? You probably want to get away from using one of the new 3. So you pick inverse of one of these 3. What's it going to be? We're going to get the same answer every time, so let's make a decision. Probably cosine, yeah, no radical. That's what last period did. So A is going to be equal to inverse of cosine. What was it, 4 or 3/4? 3/4? There you go. Inverse cosine, make sure you're in degree mode. 41 degrees. And now sometimes kids get, well, do I have to do it like, do I have to add 180, subtract it? What quadrant am I in? We're in a triangle, right? How many degrees in a triangle?
180.
180, right? And these angles can't be bigger than 90, so you're going to stick right there with 41 degrees. You can't make it bigger than 180. All right, how do we feel about these? Or you're still not great yet, but you're flipping one of the original three. You just got to remember which one to flip. All right, I just want to go over, remember doing ASTC? Well, how did the new three fit into that now? Where are the new three positive and negative? All right, let's start in quadrant one. What do you know about things in quadrant one? 7, what do you know about everything in quadrant one?
The cosine and sine in quadrant 1 are positive.
Everything's positive in 1, right? Including the new 3. When we say everything, we mean everything. All right? So yes, the original 3 were positive in the first, and so are the new 3. Everything is positive in the first. All right, now things are going to change. What's positive in the second quadrant? 14?
Sine and sec.
Sine. What was sine? Not secant. What was sine today? What goes with sine? Cosecant. So that means cosecant 2 is positive. All right? So one of the new 3 and whatever it belongs with as far as the big 3. All right? So sine and cosecant, everything else? Negative. What about in the third quadrant? What was positive in the third? 15, Howie? Tangent. So that means, what goes with tangent? Cotangent will also be positive. Everything else? Negative. And then finally, what was positive in quadrant 4? 9?
Cosine.
Cosine.
So then
So, yep, go ahead. What else would be positive then?
cosecant.
That goes with sine.
Or secant.
Secant, right? Second one in SOHCAHTOA. So that's positive. Everything else, we got a little negative. Questions? All right. Here we go. Determine the sign, meaning positive or negative. That's all I need. Is it positive or negative? And yeah, keep searching. You're not going to find that button on there, Nick. It's all right. A lot of people do that. They like all of a sudden pick up the calc and they want to type in cotangent of 340, and there is no cotangent button on the calc. So we got to figure this out another way. Cotangent, a little awkward because it's new, but what is cotangent related to? So if you want to write a little tangent above, they're going to have the same signs. So here we go. Where is 340? What quadrant am I in? 340. 1. Amanda, 340. 4. What do you know about tangent in quadrant 4? So we'll cotangent. Done. So we'll cotangent. If the original's positive, so is the new one. Secant. What's it related to that I can write above? Secant and cosine. So treat this like a cosine problem. Where's 123? 3. 123. Dylan?
Negative.
Back up there. Back up, superstar.
Sorry.
What quadrant are we in?
2.
What do you know about cosine in the second?
It's negative.
So there you go. That's where you get your negative from. And finally, cosecant is related to sine. 13. What quad am I in?
3.
What are you about sine in the third?
It's negative.
You don't have to look back. It's negative. So will cosecant. Any issues? Here we go. Cotangent. Ooh, ooh. What can I write above this if I don't like seeing cotangent? Tangent, and we've had a couple of these problems in the past. Less than, it's just a fancy way of saying it's negative. All right, so tangent is negative. Secant, cosine is positive. That's what this question is asking. Give me the quadrant, and then we'll figure out what angle could be there, where tangent is negative and cosine's positive at the same exact time. What quadrant am I in? Tangent's negative and cosine's positive in. Same exact time. ASTC. 6, what quad am I in? What's that? Everything's positive in the first, though. I'm looking where tangent's negative, cosine's positive. Start with the positive. Where's cosine positive? Where's the C?
Oh, X.
Fourth quadrant, right? Is tangent negative there as well? Yeah. So we're looking at the fourth quadrant. Redeem yourself now, Ryan. Which one of these angles falls in the fourth? There you go. Does everyone see how I narrowed it down to the fourth quadrant? Start thinking ASTC here with positives and negatives. All right, I do need to show you how to find these values on the calculator. All right, Nick just experienced that these buttons aren't on the calculator, but I'm still going to ask you to use your calculator to check some of these. So how do I do cosecant of 63 if that button, I don't have a CSC button on my calculator? Well, talk to me here. Cosecant and what go together? Sine. So watch. That's not true, by the way. This is not true. What do I need to do to that answer of sine of 63 to go to cosecant? Flip it, right? So how do I flip it? I type that into my calculator. I actually flip 1 over sine of 63 over 1. I flip it. So that is how you find all these. You do 1 over the original. And wow, on a Friday, I'm asking nearest thousandth. How many numbers is that after the decimal? 1,000?
3.
3, yeah. So you're looking at the fourth one. Don't give me any of the sig figs. Looking at the fourth number after the decimal. It's a round or not. 1.122. Nearest thousand. Cotangent 245.
0.
Oh. Can't do tangent of 245. You got to flip it and do what? 1 over tangent of 245. And that is what? 0.466?
Yep.
And then secant. What's secant related to?
Cosine.
Cosine. So I do 1 over the cosine of 35. Always flip it. And that's going to be 1.221. Any issues? Couple more. Flip one of the original 3. Gonna keep saying it. All righty. Which one of the following values of x is not in the domain of cosecant x? Basically what I'm asking is, I tried to do the cosecant of all these angles, and I'm gonna get an error. It's gonna give me an error. It's not in the domain. I'm gonna get an error. So right now, 180. Let's go to our calculators. Cosecant 180. Cosecant 180. And again, I'm looking for an undefined value, so I want to try to use my calculator. What are you guys plugging in your calculator to do cosecant 180? 1 over sine 180. Yep. And
Error.
there you go. All right, so there is no value at 180 for cosecant anyway. If I tried the other three out, I would get a number out or a decimal. All right, here we go. Psyched to get to these three problems. Very hyped. You throw anything at me right now. Let's see how far we've come. First of all, express your answer in exact value, meaning useless, right? I don't want don't type 1 over cosine 60 and give me the decimal. I want fractions, radicals, and both, all right? Secant of 60, what is the value? Throw anything you want at me right now. Let's go. What's coming to your mind? Secant of 60. Cosine, perfect. So I'm thinking cosine. How about the 60? What's coming to mind with the 60?
1/2.
Yeah. 1/2. Radical 3 over 2. Let's keep it going. Cosine is what? X coordinate. But since I'm finding the secant, what did we talk about? What do I need to do to the X? Flip it. So right now the X coordinate's 1/2. Everyone's telling me to flip it. What's the secant of 60? That's how we roll. You guys are putting all the pieces together. Go too fast there? We all right? 150, cotangent 150. Talk to me. Let's go. Throw some stuff out. Okay, tan. How about that 150? Little reference angle action, right? So we're looking at 30. All right, tell me something about 30. Radical 3 over 2. 1/2. All right, keep talking. Yeah, whoa. Tangent is y over x, right? But I'm doing cotangent, so you want me to do what here? X coordinate. Radical 3 over 2 over the y coordinate. 1/2. And now this was a yesterday problem. We showed you how to fix this. How do I fix this? Keep, change, flip. That's the saying, I guess. Radical 3 over 2. Keep talking. Times 2 over 1 or just 2. Yep. Keep talking. I'm still listening. I don't want to talk anymore.
It's radical 3. That's the answer.
No. Guys, that was awesome. What you just did. I didn't have to say a word, but I didn't hear one thing I wanted to hear. Dylan.
Sine.
150. Where am I? Second. Tangent in the second.
Negative.
And guys, darn it, I'm not saying this to offend anybody, but just don't be lazy. Take the 15 seconds it takes right now. Grab your calculators. Do 1 over the tangent of 150 because that's how you would find this value. And what do you notice right away? Oh, shoot. I forgot to put the negative sign on. All right, that's when you're going to figure out. Check the darn thing. Check it. Come on, let's go. One more. Oh, well, first of all, 3 pi over 4. Can we turn that around? What's your go-to here to turn this around?
3 times.
Okay. There's 2 go-tos here. We had this big discussion last period. Pi, you can just plug in 180 if you want. Or you can remember anybody pi over 4? Anybody remember the quick convert, pi over 4? 45, yep, times 3. You can do it that way. All right?
Did you turn the sound system on in the day for practice?
Yes, and I did not turn it off there. Okay. How
Hey, Clayman.
On time?
To this class?
Yeah.
he always makes it here.
Oh.
He knows better.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good times. All right, I got you.
All right, thanks. How did that come up? We did a redo of a scene. Thanks. 135, right? Keep talking.
180 minus 135.
Reference angle is
45.
Radical 2.
Radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2.
Y.
Sine, right? Cosecant and sine. So what value do I want? Y value, but the y value flipped, right? The y value flipped 2 over radical 2. Little SR here, right? Self-respect. That's what you guys say on the streets. 2 radical 2 over 2. Usually we just leave it and move on, but I can actually do something here. Yeah, I can cross out the 2's and just get. And same thing we talked about in the last problem. Check. Right, check. Did I forget a negative sign or not? So what are you typing in your calculator to check this? 1 over what? Sine 135, right? Don't put the radians in because your calculator's in degrees. And what do you notice about the decimal? Positive? Fine, we're good then. All right, come on, let's get to work now. Flip it right over, it's just a continuation. Last thing I need to tell you, you can see those first 6 problems. If any of those problems are on the line, 90, 180, 270, use your calculator, just type it in. Okay, just type it in your calculator if it's on the line. Whew, good work. Exhausted.